She used to direct noontime programs in the Philippines as well as movies. And she decided to visit LA one day and decided to stay without a plan. And now, years later, she is calling the shots as a director in Hollywood, traveling all over North America to direct segments or episodes of very famous TV series as well as movies. Very, very proud of her. The first time I met her, she was actually on a promo tour for her movie Ang Nawawala, or What Isn't There. And now here she is, happy to have caught up with her. This is director Marie Jamora, and currently she is so hot. Director Marie Jamora, Pinay, Power Behind the Lens. Thank you so much for making time for us here on SoJannelle.
Thank you so much, Janelle. It's so great to see you again.
First of all, congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
When we first met, I was doing my old show in Kababayan, and you were only visiting for the promo of your film. At that time, it was called Ang Nawawala. And just seeing you grow and seeing you slay, I feel very proud. Marie, take us through that time gap from Ang Nawawala to now doing mainstream production, most recent of which is Fox's The Cleaning Lady.
It was a great time when I met you because I was traveling with Ang Nawawala, and then the English title is What Isn't There, around film festivals in California. And funnily enough, the first film festival I had earlier that year at the SlamDance Film Festival, that's where I met a guy who ended up becoming my husband. And he moved to the US in late 2013 for a job in LA. And then I followed him from Manila to LA. I had a very successful career in Manila, but I was like, I'll visit because he was my boyfriend. And I ended up not leaving and starting, living in LA, self-petitioning for my green card and starting from scratch. And it was very humbling, but it was quite wonderful because I realized what I was passionate about, directing, and the stories I was passionate about, which is telling Filipino stories.
What a choice. What a choice for you to move here, because I hear of other non-Filipino boyfriends moving to the Philippines because it's easier there.
I think Jason, he loves the Philippines. He fell in love with the country just like everybody does, but he had an opportunity to intern at Cartoon Network. He recognized his own opportunities, and I love that about him. And then for me, I was just planning to visit. And I never had the plan, like, I will move to the United States. What happened was, I just never left. And I was here, and I was like, I want to work. And I was like, oh, I need a visa. Okay, I have to self-petition for a visa. Like, it was just like a step-by-step process. And before I knew it, I was living here full time.
That was a pretty gutsy move for you as well. You were already an established director in the Philippines. Was that a consideration when you decided to stay?
What I was doing in those early years was I was working back and forth. Like, I would go back to the Philippines, I would direct a commercial, I would come back to the US, I would work, I would be editing or just trying to make money and do opportunities in film. Until I realized whenever I went back, it would affect my momentum here. So my husband and I, we said, hey, you know what, let's not affect the momentum. Let's keep going forward. What was great was, because of my work, I was doing some documentary filmmaking. I was editing and co-directing a Lego web series. A friend of mine saw what I was doing and said, hey, could you direct the pilot for this show we're developing? And that ended up becoming the pilot for Family Style, which is the unscripted food show I have on HBO Max.
Yes, yes.
So that was really the first big opportunity I had here.
It just fascinates me the way you're talking about it, right? So here you are, you're able to establish yourself. You did mention earlier that it was starting from scratch. You know, Marie, everybody goes through that because a lot of people, they feel stuck moving here. They regret their decision. They don't know where to start. They don't know how to start. How are you able to do it?
How I did it is if you look forward and you pursue doing the things you love to do. So like, I never said to myself, I'll work at a coffee shop. I wanted to always work in the industry, whether it's even if it's parallel to the industry. If I'm not getting directing opportunities, I'll edit, I'll color something, I'll cut a music video, like something that's still related to the industry. Every job is still learning. What's great though is one job always leads to another job. When I edited something, the person who I helped was like, hey, why don't you be my assistant editor? So I became that person's assistant editor. It opens up your network ever so slightly more and more. And I feel that another thing that really helped me was Cinema Sala, which is my organization. When I moved here and I realized I only knew 5 people, I was like, let's invite those 5 people to my apartment. Let's screen their works on this projected screen. Let's talk about it. And then like I kept on doing that every 2 months, inviting more filmmakers. And that was 6 years ago. And from 5 filmmakers, now it's, you know, over 100. There's so much work out there. There's so much talent here in Los Angeles. And like, and these people started collaborating with each other. So I feel that that also helped me emotionally, like not feel alone and to push forward.
I love that story. And I like you just summarizing it, because you said, first, I think I picked it out from what you said. When you moved here, you realized that going back and forth, your momentum was being affected. And so you made a decision to move here, leave the Philippines with blinders on, to go straight, right?
Yes.
I think that's what holds a lot of us back, is when we're thinking, oh, you know, which brings me to your second point, is that just grab every opportunity that you can within the industry that you want to work in. Because yes, some people do that. Oh, I'm already this in the Philippines. Why will I do that? I'm already this, like, I'm already like, no, you have to be humble enough to learn, because there's other things to learn, right? And then the third, I like that you surrounded yourself with like-minded people and built some form of an organization and a circle that supports each other.
Yes.
I love that, Marie. But the second point, when you said you're learning, every opportunity is a learning experience, right? What have you learned here? How is production here? I have my own ideas as well, because I'm in production a little bit, but how is production here different from production in the Philippines?
In the Philippines, I also think everyone's talented, but you know, you can pretty much, I think sometimes you can kind of coast. You can coast on, and you can be like, oh, that's fine. That's good enough. But here, there's no such thing as good enough. I feel like you have to bring your best. It has to be the best, because the quality of work here is the best in the world. So I think having unions and these establishments that protect all the people in the crew in every department, I think that's great, because it makes it a sustainable living. In the Philippines, I would work on set, you know, for 20 hours, you know, and we sometimes 30 hours, you know, like, and that taught me endurance, and it taught me how to work even if I'm tired, and that taught me a lot of great things about stamina and filmmaking under pressure. But living here, you see the quality of work, and you realize that, okay, it's a 5-day-a-week job for 12 hours. How do you bring consistency, excellence, and also you can sustain this for a month, this energy? Because in the Philippines, there are bursts. Diba? Like if you're going to shoot, it's like, oh, 30 hours, but you only do it twice or whatever, right? So I think that's some of the difference.
I love that when you said here is it's kumbaga a pot of all the best, and you always have to give your best because the industry demands it. But it's not like in the Philippines, where they're also good at what they do, but here you're also taken care of.
Yes, thank you. That is so much better said.
Right?
Thank you.
And it's the endurance as well, which is like, you know, it's not in spurts. And that's why you hear of a lot of filmmakers in the Philippines dying,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
You know, heart
Yes.
attacks, like aneurysm. It's so sad. They really need to do better at taking care of the people there. But
Yes. And actors too. Filmmakers and actors. Yeah.
yeah,
It,
yeah, they should probably learn. I mean, they should look here and learn, right? But
they're starting to, which is great, you know, because of what happened to Eddie Garcia. The actors started to demand, at least, thank God, for their rights as
Right?
actors and protect themselves and hope. And then also the cinematographers have formed the union. Like slowly but surely, they're learning to
Right.
protect and then having less hours because when you work for so many hours, mistakes are made
Mm.
and accidents can happen. I realize living here that everybody here is phenomenally talented. Everyone is the best at what they do, and they come here because from all over the world. So you really have to bring your A game.
Now you're playing with the best, right? In fact, you were handpicked by American filmmaker, a woman power figure here in the US, Ava DuVernay, for the series Queen Sugar. Now you're a member of the Directors Guild of America. All this, did you ever come to a point where you hesitated? And as a woman of color coming to America to become a director, telling people what to do?
I think one of the strengths in getting raised in the Philippines and also working there for so long, so I worked there for over 10 years, was that I got to see female directors in action. I got to see that they were the top directors in the box office. One of my mentors is Marlu Diaz-Abaya. In the Philippines, it's normal to have a female director. And so when I moved to America, that's when I realized that that was not normal. But now, luckily, that it's changing, Hollywood is changing and giving more opportunities to female directors and directors of color. And I've often been underestimated because of how I look, but that because of my experience in the Philippines, I don't let it faze me because I know that once we actually get to work, once I start directing, they don't underestimate me anymore because I bring in the experience and the confidence and all that stuff. I also have a mentor here. She said, when I go on set, you are the director and you are the leader. It's not about race, it's not about gender. You are the director.
Marisa, where do you plan to take this? How far are you willing to take this? I say willing, we pay the price for the life we choose. I know you also have a daughter. I know you also, you are raising a family. But I know that being a director in this industry can also be very demanding.
My husband and I always talked about how when we became parents, our daughter would adapt to our lifestyle. And so I made sure that I think when she was 2 months old, I already, took my first trip out. Like from 2 months old, she already saw me leaving and working. And so we wanted that to feel normal for her. When I'm home, I'm 100% present. But when I'm at work, I can also focus on work. So how far do I want to take it? Like, as far as we can go, really. Because Filipinos in Hollywood, there's not a lot of us, and what I would love is to really bring Philippine culture to American mainstream television and movies. And either through my own work or supporting other people's work. And so that's what I'm always working to do, whether it's in the directing jobs I do or in the personal work that I do. And then I have a production company called Indie Pop Films, and we have other Filipino filmmakers, and I'm producing their work, championing their work, because we have to be an army of filmmakers to show Hollywood that we have so many stories. Like as many as the islands that we have in the Philippines, we have so many stories.
I think that's one good thing about what you do as well is there's a mission behind it. The mission is to help elevate the status of Filipinos and Filipino filmmaker. And I thank you for that. So what's on the horizon for you?
Luckily, I've gotten to direct some TV now. And then I just finished one episode, and I'm started on another episode, and I'm leaving in a week for Vancouver to shoot the Grease musical prequel TV show. So it's called The Rise of the Pink Ladies, and it's a prequel, and it's for Paramount Plus, and I'm really excited because, as you know, I started off my career as a music video director, and this is a musical, and so it's really my passion, my jam, and so I'm very excited.
This is Women's History Month. We are celebrating the power of women. What does the power of women to you? What does it mean?
Our power as women especially when given leadership roles, is something wherein we are benevolent leaders. We listen, we care, we nurture, and like the people around us. It's not about ego. It's about the family, like camaraderie, and making sure that the people around us are fully expressed. I think that's what we bring as women and how we lead.